buenos tacos. Bienvenido a Midnight Español. Kermit the Frog here. Aquí estamos con Pablo Geek Tripology.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Y también Diego.
Hola, hola a todos.
Hello there.
Why is Kermit here?
I don't know.
Kermit, did you get into the jar again and kidnap Polly?
Bueno, ahora aquí estamos. Un hombre especial. Es un productor de Hollywood. También tenemos noticias. Pero antes, yo quiero cantar una canción. Why are there so many songs about Pablo? And I am just a pinchy frog. Why does Diego sound like me when he's on stream today? Ahora es una stream de los españoles de Latinoamérica. Pero yo soy un frogito de América. La, 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 la. Where's Tom? Where's Tom? Where's
Sure.
Tom?
That pancito had something extra, man.
Where's Tom?
Well, it is LA.
Earthquake, shaking, let's get this fucker started. High class, big press, pretty little lines in a row. Cash, so brass, wrap it up in a bow. I'm so heavy, my head hangs low. When you gonna tell me what you don't know?
No. Bueno. I just got here. What happened?
Tuvimos a una rana que se comió un pancito especial.
Muy especial.
¿De veras?
Sí.
Wow.
No, I asked him
Ay,
if he got into the jar again and tried to kidnap you again. He never answered.
No me digas.
Ay, esa rana René es una loquita.
Well, we need a little crazy frog in our lives. Welcome to Midnight Español. We have a busy week this week. Before we go through that, let's say hello to the chat. Tenemos Arm,
Hola.
D-Bud Martin, Martin,
Hola,
¿Cómo
hermano.
vamos?
Steven Oton
Hey, hermano, ¿cómo vamos?
y el número uno mocoso. Tenemos Krusty Moco.
I sound like
Krusty.
our keep it.
Yeah, Krusty, necesitamos una forma de mantener a esa rana alejada del pan.
Sí.
Y también T-Shirted Historian,
Hey,
hermano
hermanocito.
cubano.
Hola, hermano.
Hermanito. Él dice, Polly, avoid the special flautas for breakfast this time. Oh, okay. Well, here's the scary thing is that I don't need any substance to act that silly. How you guys doing?
Oh, really nice, actually. I'm having fun. I'm enjoying the day.
It's a
Diego?
cold day. That's all I'll say.
It's a cold day in hell. Y mira, el primero loco de los Estados Unidos, Jesse Miller. They call me
Hey.
Sancho. Hello, Sancho.
Hola, Sancho.
Hola, Sancho.
Pancho.
Pancho. Before we bring on our guest, let's go over this week with everyone in the chat. Mark your calendars because stuff has changed. Tomorrow night on the Latino Slant, a las 6 Pacific Time en la noche, tenemos el Pachuco Slant, un especial de las historias de Zoot Suit Riots. Tenemos un historian, Barrio Boychek, y también el hombre de Lichela. Se llama Brandon Maxwell. Y hablamos todo en la historia de Zoot Suit. Hace 78 años, aniversario.
Man, that's a long ass time.
Long ass time to be getting beat up.
Yep.
God damn.
Oh,
Some
Latin
shit hasn't
America kinda knows that.
That's tomorrow night a las 8 for about an hour. I'm going to say hour and 15 minutes. Right after, guys. Right after. Come to this channel, Midnight's Edge Espanol, and we're having a stand and deliver movie watch party.
Ooh.
Nice.
We're going to watch it on Discord. We'll have all the links. Tomorrow night, 6 p.m. Latino Slant, 7:30 p.m. Pacific Time, stand and deliver watch party aquí. All right, you guys got it?
Anotado, jefecito.
Okay. Also, too, Thursday. Es muy importante. Muy importante. The stand and deliver watch party is starting 2 hours earlier now. A las 10 en la mañana, Pacific Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time, ya empieza el reunion de Stand and Deliver con los actores. Mira, tenemos Will Gote, Patrick Baca, Ingrid Alura, Lydia Nicole, Daniel Villarreal, los actores los actores de la película Stand and Deliver, Diego y Pablo.
No, es una gran
Okay.
película, se van a divertir.
Pero, la gente, tenemos Edward James Olmos. También, Lou Diamond Phillips.
Nice.
A las 10 en la mañana. Jueves, ¿no?
Sí, jueves.
Mhm.
Jueves.
Jueves 10 de la mañana, amigos. Se nos viene.
So now, this really quick English rundown, because I know my Spanish was so amazing. I'm trying, Pablo.
I know, and you're getting better, man. You're getting really better.
Wow, really, I appreciate you. Muchísimas gracias.
Yeah.
Thank you. You guys are pulling in some serious big names. Not as big as you, fool. Sancho. Okay. Thursday morning, 10 a.m. Stand and Deliver watch party. Stand and Deliver reunion with Edward James Olmos and Lou Diamond Phillips. Mark your calendars. That's on Midnight's Edge, the big channel, the big. Oh, also too, did I mention who's gonna be co-hosting or like the lead host on that?
No, you haven't.
I know, Diego. You didn't need to answer that, but thank you. Menso. Robert Meyer Burnett will be our host, the main host, along with myself and some other and you guys. Robert Meyer Burnett will be running the show. How cool is that, guys?
Awesome.
Diego, you got to meet him.
Yeah, I had to meet him a second time because there was also that Tom or he was leaving when I was getting in.
Mm-hmm.
But still, finally actually have us sit down and talk a bit with him. was
Yes.
incredible. You know, Paulie, you should talk about the fact that a certain member of that panel that you talked with personally told him to call that he told you to call him by his first name.
We're talking about Mr. Olmos?
No, the
I'm
other man,
confused, man. I'm
Drew
confused.
Demon
But
Phillips.
oh yeah, well, you know what? Let's bring our guest on because he doesn't have a lot of time for us. He's
Okay.
big time.
Okay.
He's a big time Hollywood dude. These guys are like, you know, schedule. You know,
PCB.
perdóname.
God.
Ay, what was on that pancito, hermano?
Yeah. No, I can say this because he's a buddy of mine. I've known the Vato for hace muchos años. But I want you. Who wants to introduce him?
Dieguito.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just go ahead a little bit. Let's see what you got.
yeah,
Let's see
okay.
what you do.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here at Midnight in Espanol, we have the distinction of being joined today by someone special, someone who has, as Paulie said, been in many productions, including, for example, he was the producer for the first season of the Derbez family show that we talked about last week.
Mhm.
Okay, we also was here with us for the with Paulie's members for the watch party for when we watched Monday. Okay. And he basically has a 21 years in, career in the industry in general. Okay.
Wow.
He has produced so many shows as either producer, field producer, executive producer, or producer in general, that like there's some like Temptation Island. There's also other shows that, like, for example, I've seen, like, I've heard of, but I've never been able to see them because they don't get here to Peru, you know, and I still want to watch them. But one of my favorites, I will be honest, is that show, Pitbulls and Parolees. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, Pitbulls and Parolees.
Yes.
We'll ask him about that.
Yes. So here are our viewers of Midnight en Español. Please join me as we present to you Jason Martinez.
Woohoo! Hey, gracias, Diego. Gracias, Pablo and Paulie. Gracias, my brother, Paulie. Thank you so much, buddy.
Welcome, sir.
Bienvenido.
Gracias. Bienvenido. Gracias. I couldn't find a better picture. Disculpa.
I was on mute.
Yeah, that I was like excited. I think this is a picture from when I first got my laptop, and you know, it has the camera, you know. So I was like, all right, I'm excited. Let me take a funny picture, and there it goes.
Well, we're really happy to have you here. What we can do is a little bilingual. We can maybe answer first in English, and we'll do a quick wrap up in Spanish with the fellas.
I'll
is
try
that
and
cool?
do a little español. Yo hablo español muy chuequito, pero yo hablo español también. So.
How did you start in the business? Because you've been in the reality show production business for a long time now.
Well, yeah. Well, I started in. Well, you know, I graduated from college in about 1998. But even when I was in college, I was interning for a commercial company, you know, that did commercials, and then for the next 3 years, I pretty much mainly worked on scripted stuff, and I was getting my feet wet, you know, like I was doing everything. I did art department, I did sound, I did craft service, I was a PA, I did lighting and gripping, and I AC'd. Like I just anything to get my fingers dirty, you know, just to understand what film sets were all about is what I did. And I did that for about 3 years, from 1998 till about, actually from 4 years, from like 1997 till 2001. And it was mostly all scripted. It was all music videos, commercials, big budget commercials, big budget music videos, low budget films, and those type of those you know, shows of those kind of nature. But then in 2001, I got introduced by a friend of mine to a guy who was doing a reality show. And at the time, I knew about reality shows, but I never worked on one. And so he called me up and he said, "Hey, dude, I need somebody that has all skill sets. somebody who can light, who can shoot, who can do audio, who can, I mean, just, you have to have like, all the sort of knowledge of at least everything. And I said, yeah, I'm kind of that person. So I interviewed with the guy, and I got hired for my first job in 2001 for MTV's The Challenge, which was one of the very first challenges ever, Road Rules versus Real World Challenge. And we shot it in Mexico, in Baja California, in oh my gosh, in the right there in the the Cabo San Lucas, which was so much fun. We had a great time, and I learned a lot. The pace of reality shows are so much faster, and they had this really sort of breakneck speed, and I was not used to it because I came from a more, when you're in a scripted set, things are a little bit more, I guess, regimented, scheduled, and they have like a little bit of a, I'm not going to say a slower pace, because there isn't a slow pace, but it's definitely like, like you kind of, you take your time with things, and things are more regimented on a scripted set. On an unscripted set, I was like, holy shit, like anything can go. So it felt like the wild, wild west, and somehow it really just sort of got along well with my sensibilities, and the rest is history, man. I've been doing reality TV since 2001, and it's now 2021, so that makes me a 20-year veteran of this industry, and I feel proud to say that out loud, and I also feel kind of a little bit shocked. Like, man, time kind of blew by quickly, but after a long career, I've been able to make this sort of my bread and butter, and I'm very happy to do this for a living. I mean, of course it's a sacrifice in many ways, but I enjoy what I do.
Man, that's awesome. And you have worked with some of the biggest studios that you can have. You work with Amazon, right?
Yeah. I work with Amazon on. I got called by an old good friend of mine, Stephanie Block Chambers, who owns the production company, along with her partner Katie Wallen. They own Wallen Chambers Entertainment, and they are the production company behind the Derbez family vacation show. The Viaje con los Derbez. She called me up and said, "Hey, look, I've got a great show coming up. We would love to have you, because, not only are you great at what you do, but you're also bilingual. You get along with the cast." And so, we had an opportunity to work with Amazon and Pantalla and the Derbez family. And we were in Morocco, and we filmed, this was in 2019. My gosh, the time goes by quickly, but this was at the beginning of 2019. And we filmed the first season of the Derbez show in Morocco. It was fantastic. We had a great time.
Man, that's awesome. I want to do a small translation to Spanish to what you have said, or at least a bit recap. Ok. Básicamente lo que Jason nos está contando es su trayectoria dentro del mundo de la producción. Por ejemplo, bueno, él lleva 20 años, ha estado en múltiples estudios y pasó de lo que es un poco scripteado, de lo que es todo bajo guión, hacia el mundo del reality show. Y en el reality show, como él explica, las cosas son muy diferentes, es mucho más frenético, mucho más activo. Así que obviamente él tuvo que tomar digamos, una visión nueva de cómo manejar su trabajo. Y bueno, también yo le pregunté un poco sobre el hecho de que él ha estado en estudios bastante grandes, y ahora le pregunté sobre todo sobre Amazon, que es un tema que quiero topar. Y bueno, lo que dice es la manera en la que llegó a Amazon, y el trabajo que hizo con Derbez, y justamente de eso quiero topar con Diego, así que Diego, te dejo la palabra a ti en eso.
Okay, well, first up, Jason, I have seen part of season 1 after I watched season 2, because we were preparing for a review for later of this, and so I want to ask, because I've seen some wacky things on that season, how difficult was it to be like in Morocco you know, in that location and some of the things that we're doing as family activities, while you as a crew trying to record everything?
Yeah, you know, it's always when you're on location, there's a lot of challenges, and certainly Morocco is a country where there are a lot of challenges. You know, the terrain is a lot of challenge, the language. You know, there's certain things that make it very, very hard to film, but we have an amazing local crew of guys who we hired as our local fixers. They're called fixers, and these guys have so much experience working on productions that come to Morocco. You know, guys that, you know, it's so funny. I was working with these Moroccan guys, these local Moroccan guys, and they have so much enthusiasm and energy, and they're really great. And then I look in their, you know, they show me their phone, and there's like pictures of them with like Tom Cruise and pictures of them with Hugh Jackman and like all these celebrities that they've worked with, Leonardo DiCaprio. I'm like, man, you guys are treating us like we're special. I mean, you guys are working with the best. There's a lot of productions that happen in Morocco, big time productions. So these guys are the best. They literally, you call them up and you say, hey, look, we're filming in Morocco, and they say, great, you know, for a nominal fee that they get, and they distribute to their people, and they come with the Moroccan crew, and they really took good care of us. You know, we stayed at a very nice hotel. But then when you're, you know, kind of in the middle of nowhere, you know, they also are there to help, you know, facilitate things. Sometimes, you know, vendors want money if you're going to film in front of their place, or just certain things like that, where you know, it can be a little bit sort of a little difficult because of just the exterior problems that you know, that come along with a production. So I mean, we had a great time, and I really wanted to thank the Moroccan locals. You know, there's a Mohammed Ben Amin and Ismail Izzy. I'm gonna mess up their names because I don't know how to pronounce it in English too well. But I think it's Bakui Ali Bakui. And Ismail Bakui El Otamani, and those guys were fantastic. I just wanted to say thank you to them if they're ever going to listen to this.
Okay, so basically, it's like you guys are like, you know, it wasn't just like you as your production team, and it was like you and the production team over there that helped smooth a lot, at least the production side of things.
Correct. Yes. You know, and everything we get on camera, like, you know, we want everything to be natural, you know. So, you know, we set it up through our Moroccan contacts, and let's say like, you know, when they were camping, you know, all right, let's just set it through our Moroccan, you know, contacts. Okay, we'll put them in this, you know, in this area where they have to, we'll film them going in the camioncito, the little RV, you know, going to the location to location. And, you know, we were in a caravan doing that, you know, and that's, you know, that also is kind of difficult. That's difficult enough to do, you know, just with a couple people, but then you're dealing with a, you know, maybe like six, you know, or 7, 8 cars, you know, going down the road at the same time, because we all had to travel from town to town to town. You know, we ended up going to quite a bit of different places. You know, we went to a place called Essaouira in Morocco, which is so gorgeous, so pretty. It's like a port town, and we filmed like the camel riding on the beach when we did that. And then we also went to another place called Where's This At, which sounds funny porque in English it sounds like where's it at, you know. Pero in you know, in the Arabic, it's where's this at? And actually, this town, where's this at, is in the middle of the desert, nothing around it, but it's a small oasis because there's a movie studio in the middle of the place. And like I said, like, you know, when production companies, European, American, you know, whatever production companies from all over the world, when they say, you know what, we want a desert, we need a desert to look like, you know, whatever the creative calls for, a lot of people take their productions to Morocco because there's a great tax incentive, and the crews are great, and ultimately there's something really exotic and sort of like, you know, storybook about Morocco. When you think about Morocco, you think about places that, that like it almost exists just in your dreams. And then when you're actually there, you're like, wow, it's really beautiful here. The architecture is like nothing that we've ever seen here in North America. It's just something completely different. It looks like you feel like you're in a fantasy. It's a really beautiful place.
Mm-hmm. And the other question would be like, how was it to be with the Derbez family? Because I imagine that this kind of reality show where it's a family trip was different from other reality shows you did before and after.
Yes. Well, it's different because usually some of the cast members I work with on the other shows like Temptation Island or Are You the One, they're like, they're not famous, they come up and they, are like first time, people on camera. But the Best family, pretty much all of them are used to being on camera, even the little girl. So, they're veterans,
Yeah.
So and it kind of adds a little bit of pressure to the situation. You want to make sure that you are performing well for these people and that they have a smooth time and that things go well. And ultimately we had a really good time. I feel like Eugenio is just the best, man. He's somebody who's really, been there, done that, and they're all very sweet people, man. I really, his sons, Vadir and Jose Eduardo. Oh my gosh, Jose Eduardo is so funny, man. That guy is like literally, in my opinion, he kind of steals the show because he's so funny. Vadir kind of has like the good looks. He kind of looks like a very handsome, almost pop star. Like a rock star almost. But Jose Eduardo, oh my gosh, he's so funny. And and season 1 there was a lot of drama going on between Aislinn and her husband that she is now, I guess in the process of divorcing. And so, you see some of that definitely in season 1 of the show because they argued quite a bit, which was unfortunate. But I mean, that's life. Sometimes couples they separate. So there you go.
Tenemos una pregunta en el chat. The road rules on Temptation Island. Jesse Miller. Dice, how you did Temptation Island? I used to call that something else.
Yeah, absolutely. Man, Temptation Island was it was a reboot, So Temptation Island back in the early 2000s or like I think the late 90s, early 2000s, it was a very popular show here in the United States for Fox. And it ran for like 3 or 4 seasons and then it went away. But somebody until 2020 said, hey, you know what? Or 2000, gosh, it's been already quite, I think 2018 now is when we did it, or 2019. They said, all right, let's do Temptation Island again. And 3 seasons later, here we are, and the show did very well in the ratings. And I think we're going to be getting going on a 4th season here probably very soon. So if there are any fans of Temptation Island, thank you for watching, and hopefully you guys get to see another one very soon here.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about working with Robert Rodriguez, Rebel Without a Crew, the TV series.
My gosh, man. It's funny, Paulie. I've in my life I've had a couple of shows that kind of like really kind of changed the complete trajectory of how my career has gone. Like they've really made a huge difference, and it's hard when you're working, right? When you're working, you're just working, you're just doing your thing, and you kind of just go forward, right? I mean, and that's how my mindset is, just keep going forward. But then this is actually really nice to be on the show with you guys, with Pablo and Diego, and gracias Diego and Pablo for translating for me because you guys speak Spanish a lot more nicer than I do. Yo hablo español, pero ustedes hablan español perfectísimo. So thank you, gracias for doing that. But I to go back on that, to like, this is cool because I'm like, well, wait, I'm like actually reflecting on the stuff that I actually did, and Rebel Without a Crew, is one of those moments for me for sure. You know, we did that show in 2017, in the fall of 2017, and I had an absolute blast working on that show. Robert Rodriguez is exactly how you would think he is. He's he's very mellow, man. He's just, a professional, and he's very soft spoken. He's very smart. He's very calm under pressure, and he's very he's a super intelligent guy, and I got a ton of respect for him, and I really feel that that I would love to work with him again in some capacity. I mean, we got a taste of it on Rebel Without a Crew, and I was assigned. I filmed with all of the filmmakers who they picked. The gist of that show is that Robert Rodriguez, wanted to challenge 5 filmmakers the way how he challenged himself when he made El Mariachi the first time, and he gave them $7,000 and 2 weeks to make a feature the same way how he made El Mariachi. And so, we chose these 5 filmmakers. They were all fantastic. And I filmed all of them, but I was assigned to Alejandro Montoya Marin, who is a local filmmaker from Albuquerque, New Mexico. And he and I got along really well. We have a funny stories, he and I, but we're now working on a couple of projects now. I helped him produce Monday, his feature that he did for Rebel Without a Crew. And then he called me up. Actually, when I was in Morocco working on the Derbez show, I get a call from Alejandro, and he's like, "Hey, man, do you want to produce my second feature, Millennium Bugs?" And I said, "Absolutely, let's do it." I read the script. I thought it was wonderful, and we did Millennium Bugs. So I'm now working with him again, and we've done about 3 or 4, 5 projects now, and we're good friends. And not only are we, not only we're friends, but we're collaborators. It's pretty awesome, man. So, when I produced Millennium Bugs, that was the first feature I've ever produced. And I've always wanted to make that segue somehow back into features, because movies are my true love. I love movies. Movies are the reason why I even got into what I got into. And I love television. Television's great too. And that's something that I love as well too. But I do have this natural inclination for movies. I just always love going to the movie theater, watching movies. I've got a huge DVD collection, and I even got a VHS collection. So the fact that I was able to connect with Alejandro, and he was able to, get me into, back into features, it feels pretty damn good. So here we are, man, just doing it one step at a time.
Quiero decir al público, solamente miren, ahorita estamos hablando con Jason y él habla sobre su amor por el cine, su amor por incluso la televisión, de su colección de DVDs. Esto es justamente lo que muchos hemos estado pidiendo últimamente en este mundo del fandom. Necesitamos gente que tenga esa identidad de amor hacia lo que hace, de amor hacia los conceptos, de amor hacia el arte. Y me encanta escuchar esto, me encanta escuchar que tenemos aún productores, que tenemos gente arriba que tiene este amor. Tal vez con esto podamos llegar más lejos, podamos hacer algo increíble. Así que tal vez me da un poco más de esperanza en lo que está pasando ahora en Hollywood y la calidad de producción que hay. A futuro tal vez tengamos a Jason dirigiendo cosas increíbles para nosotros, y eso sería maravilloso realmente.
Gracias, Diego.
That was Pablo.
Era yo, perdón.
Oh, it's Pablo. Gracias, Pablo. Disculpe. Sorry, buddy. I'm new to this StreamYard. Yo estoy nuevo a StreamYard, por favor, gracias.
Yeah. I got a question for Jason that I think would be interesting right now. So far, from what you have worked as a producer, okay, what has been the one that has sort of given you you have the longest lasting memories of, the ones that you can think about it, like they ask you, my best experience as a producer, and you just know that one memory, that one story?
Yeah, thank you, man. I do have a memories of the best memories crazy memories working on a show called Viva La Bam for MTV. I did a show with Bam Margera.
Oh wow!
Back in
didn't want to bring that
2004.
up, but yeah, go ahead.
No, bring it up, man. Yeah, no,
I know you
I
were
worked on
close
that
to
show, and
I know you were close to the Jackass guys.
Oh, nice.
yeah.
And and with Bam. So yeah, please tell us that story.
Yeah, sure, man. I got a call in 2004, and I was going through some funny stuff at the time. Like I was going out with a girl who I was madly in love with, and she called up and she broke up with me. Because she was gonna go on a job in South America. Actually, she was gonna go, to your neck of the woods there, and she was going to South America to work on road rules. And I was up for the job too, but they ended up going with somebody else, and so she was gonna go to, she ended up going to South America, and I ended up in the United States. I was pretty upset. I was pretty sad and depressed. And then one day, like it just was hysterical, Polly and Paulo. The one day I get a phone call from 3 different people, and they all are asking me to work on Viva La Bam. The executive, the co-executive producer, Bruce Klassen, called me up and he said, "Hey, dude," he's like, "I heard your name. I heard you're great. Viva La Bam is filming, and we want you to work on it." So I said, "All right, let me consider it." And then I get a call from the vendor Wexler, which is no longer in existence, but I'm sure I got a call from Marty Meyer, who worked there, and she was like, "Hey, you know what? Viva La Bam is looking for somebody to come work with them. Just putting your name out there." And then I was like, okay, that's weird. I got a call from this, just a couple hours ago, and then my buddy Joe DeVito, a good friend of mine who I met working on MTV's Making the Band in New York about a year previously, and Joe has evolved to be one of my very good friends. He lives in New York, but he called me up and said that he was working on Viva La Bam, that he wanted me on it. So I just saw it as a sign. I was like, okay, look, I'm going to be in Pennsylvania for like 3-4 months because I'm just getting a call from different people for the same job. So I said, all right, yes, let's do it. So and I was very impressed with how Bam Margera was able to create this life for himself. He's a high school dropout. He dropped high school in 10th grade, and he ended up just filming himself doing these crazy stunts, these crazy videos where he was skating and then pranking people, in his hometown, and they call that CKY, Can't Kill Yourself. And so he was able, as this young guy, to just make it on his own. It was almost it's pretty amazing that he was able to build something from that was that small into the kind of the brand that it is today, because eventually they teamed up with Big Brother and MTV, and that ultimately became Jackass. And through Jackass's popularity, Bam did this spin-off show called Viva La Bam, which was essentially him in his hometown, his friends terrorizing his parents and his uncle and the town, essentially. which was so much fun. So much fun, like literally, like and we had so much creativity. It was the first reality show that I worked on where I really felt like there was this creative freedom to do whatever the hell we wanted. And it was a lot of fun because they were creative. They just did what they wanted, and there was no rules. I remember one time we filmed an episode where the heads of MTV, Lauren Dolgen and a couple other people who were pretty much like the upper echelon of MTV, they drove down from New York, New York is like a 2-hour car ride from Philadelphia. And that's where Bam is, in Westchester, Pennsylvania, which is about 45 minutes away from center Philadelphia. So they drove down 2 hours. They showed up, and then there was this kind of buzz, like, "Ooh, the network's here, MTV's here. Everybody be buttoned up. Everyone, let's pretend like we know what we're doing, And so, Bam took
Whoops,
that as,
wrong show.
Yeah, Yeah, Bam took that as an opportunity to be like, well, the people from MTV are coming. All right, well, let me take it up to that next level. So sure enough, they get on their ATVs and they're hopping over each other. They're like, there's mud everywhere. Like the whole set looked like toast. Everybody had mud all over their faces, with the crew too, And so literally the people from MTV showed up and they saw us just like tearing it up, having a good time, getting the footage. And one camera was just it looked like they had just dipped it in mud, like it pretty much. They thought that the camera was killed, and I said, let's turn the camera off. I took the camera back and I cleaned it up, and it worked again miraculously. But the funny thing is that people from MTV literally were only there for like 2 hours, and they saw what we were doing, and they were like, "Yeah, okay, you guys are good. That's great. All right," and they left, because they knew that what they saw was just crazy, and they knew that what was happening was great. And they got away with a lot. We got away with a lot because the show was the #1 show on MTV. So if Bam was like, "Hey, I want to destroy a Hummer," MTV would foot the bill. They'd say, "Okay, we're doing it for the show. Can we get money for the Hummer?" So literally he would just destroy shit, and MTV would pay for it.
A quick little wrap up in Spanish, like just Pablo, just what we've covered.
Ok, estábamos hablando un poco de Viva la BAM. Para los que no saben, es un spin-off de Jackass, una de mis series favoritas de todos los tiempos. Y básicamente Jason nos está explicando un poco sobre un acontecimiento donde estaban en plena filmación cuando llegaron ejecutivos de MTV. Y lo que vieron es el set en caos, una cámara estaba completamente cubierta de lodo y de hecho Jason tuvo que llevar a limpiarla y milagrosamente funcionó. Y bueno, vieron básicamente todo el desastre, cómo estaba el set en ruinas, cómo todo el mundo estaba alborotado, y los ejecutivos de MTV básicamente dijeron, sí, lo están haciendo bien, y se fueron. Así que...
I do want to just follow up too, because of the original question, that you had asked, Diego, was like, what's the one show that really changed you? And the Viva La Bam really changed me because it showed me the possibilities that you can have creatively with these shows. Like, I admire Bam, and I know Bam's got a lot of problems right now. I'm sending him good energy, and hopefully he's able to fix those problems. But, I was always admire him because he did it with no more rules, like we all have to play by rules, right? Like we all have to play by the corporate rules or whatever rules. Like there always feels like there's rules. He took those rules and he smashed them. He said, "Nope, I'm gonna do it my way," and it worked. Like it for a long time it worked. I know that he's got a litany of issues that he's working with right now, but that's one thing that I really admired about him. And then what we're on the topic too. I also, the Margera family just recently lost their aunt, Boof, who's Phil's sister, who was always so sweet, man. She would come in and clean up after us. Like literally. So Boof had the task of, like, I just remember, like, we would trash the place and then we would come back again and do it again the next day, and she was there every morning cleaning up every beer bottle, cleaning up every counter, every kitchen counter. Like she was vacuuming and everything. She was fantastic, man. But she recently passed away last week, so I just want to say, rest in peace to her, and also rest in peace to Don Vito, who was the part of the more funnier elements of Viva La Bam. He was the crazy uncle, and like literally every time Don Vito was on screen, everyone would go crazy because he was so funny. And certainly Ryan Dunn, who was in my opinion, like he was the best. Like Ryan Dunn. Bam's a bit of a rock star, and he is a rock star, but Ryan Dunn was the kind of guy that you could sit down with and talk about anything with, and have a beer and just chill out and just talk about whatever. He was a very awesome guy. So
he's a gentleman right there with the beard, right, with the beanie.
correct. Yes, that's Ryan Dunn.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Ryan Dunn.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we're approaching his 10-year anniversary of his death, and it's coming. It's definitely here in June, and his birthday was in June too. But when I say he was the best, man, he really was, Paulie. Like, he was the kind of guy that that, like I said, like we used to text each other, and he used to text me the most random hysterical things, man, and just a real sweetheart of an individual, and a great guy. So
a lot of people in our community and our audience, they think that Hollywood is soulless and just all the bad things. They don't realize just what heart and soul it takes to create something original, like Rebel Without a Crew, Rebel with the Crew, Viva La Bam, obviously, or even their best. I mean, I see a lot of creative juices in that one. What are misconceptions that people may have of you as a Hollywood producer and a producer of reality shows?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that reality shows have an awful reputation as is. They just do. Everyone hates reality shows. They said people love saying they hate reality shows, but people still watch them. I mean, like, I've had a job for the last 20 years because people watch reality television.
Amen.
So that's one of the biggest misconceptions, Polly, is that people say, it's trash. But you know what? Let me watch this trash. Like, I gotta analyze this trash and make sure that this trash is up to par. Like, literally, it always makes me laugh. Like, that people think that they're better than reality television. It always kind of makes me laugh. But some of the biggest stars watch reality television. It helps keep their sanity intact, I guess. I don't know, man. Like, excuse me. I'm I've only done one feature, so I can't speak to like the featured part of things. But as far as unscripted goes, like, I feel like we get kicked around a lot, and we've been getting kicked around like since the beginning of I've been doing this, like, especially by scripted people. I remember, like, at the very beginning when reality shows were coming, like, a lot of like the union guys would be like, oh, what, like, what like, you guys are doing reality, what's that crap, like, especially from the camera union. I just remember, like, just getting a lot of shit from camera guys who were in the union that thought reality was garbage. But here we are 20 years later, and the industry has shifted where a lot of the shows are now union, thank God, and a lot of those, a lot of the guys who are the audio or the camera department, and they're all union guys that get paid union rates, and it's the way it should be. It really is. So.
Jason, another misconception is that Hollywood producers, celebrities are elitists and in their own bubble. Your family, are you guys elitists? Are you guys from a high class? Are you? I already know the answer.
No,
but
I mean,
tell us about your wonderful father and your family, where they come from, man.
Thank you, Polly. That's awesome, man. It really makes it feel good to hear you say that, and makes me feel good to talk about that too, man. Mi mamá is de Guatemala, mi papá is Honduras. They emigrated to Los Angeles, California in the 60s, the early 60s, like around 62, 63. So, I mean, they've been here for, gosh, it's like almost all their life, 60 years, somewhere in that neighborhood. And so we grew up here in Hollywood. I grew up here in Hollywood, and I became brainwashed because that's what's the product that's out here. I can imagine if we moved to Nebraska, then maybe I'd be like a corn husker or something, or if I moved to New York, maybe I'd be into, like, the stock market or Wall Street or whatever. But but I was raised here 2 blocks south of the Chinese Theater, here in Hollywood.
Wow.
So, I mean, I just, I was brainwashed by all that stuff. So, I mean, I do see that element of what you're talking about, because there are a lot of, weird egos in our industry, a lot of spoiled, entitled brats, who never quite learned that lesson in the playground, growing up, people who think that they are better than other people, or that they own other people, very strange type of personalities that we run into in Hollywood. And you could probably have that in every industry, but because everything is so high profile in our industry, and everything is so public domain, and people want to know about people's private lives and all that stuff. So I think it's just that much more, kind of, highlighted because it's in that industry. But yeah, man, I mean, there are several people who come from, I would say, humble backgrounds, like blue collar backgrounds. And it just depends how you were raised.
Yeah. I mean, one more question about your family, and then I want to move on to representation, Latino representation in the business. Your father is a vet, correct?
Yeah. He fought in the Vietnam War. He was in Vietnam from 1968 to 1971, and he has an interesting story, man. Like, literally, I've recorded it, and I've would love to turn it into a screenplay one day, because I mean, as an immigrant from Honduras, there wasn't a whole lot of love for immigrants, back in the day. I mean, we've all seen Zoot Suit, we know the Zoot Suit story, something very similar happening with my father in that regards, where, he wasn't necessarily accepted, by, white America. And he thought that going to fight for the war in Vietnam would be a little bit sort of change that. But when he got back, he realized that wasn't the case. So he kind of went through a lot and mentally, but he was able to really salvage himself and make he owned his own graphics company for a long time before he retired. So he was able to make a good living, and also, he's able to educate himself.
And still a patriot. He wears his I asked because he wears it proudly with his hats, and
I know, dude. He wears that
so
hat. Like,
cute. Oh my
God, he wears it every day, dude. But I got to tell you, Paulie, too. Like, if it wasn't for the love from my mom, he would have been gone a long time ago. Man.
Sure.
Like,
well, that war. I don't want to get up into that, but I know that war messed up a lot of my uncles. Mentally and emotionally. Diego, would you like to do a little recap for us?
Ok, bueno, a todos los que nos están escuchando, justo Pauli le ha hecho la pregunta entre un poco sobre la industria de las series de reality, ¿no? Y Jason nos ha comentado el hecho que originalmente las series de reality no es así. Todos decimos como no nos gusta, que son así basura, ¿ok? Pero aún así, 20 años después, la gente sigue viendo las series de reality, y él hablaba cómo en la industria también, al principio, por ejemplo, miembros de los equipos que se dedican a hacer series que tienen un guión, tenían una vista muy mala con respecto a los que se encargaban de hacer reality. Y después fuimos a la parte con respecto más de su trasfondo familiar de Jason, con respecto a de dónde vienen sus papás, porque justo tocamos el hecho de que no todo Hollywood es como el estereotipo, que siempre pensamos cómo son las personas de Hollywood, sino hay otras personas que son más honestas en la parte de atrás. Y justo ahí fuimos a la familia Jason, que él comenta sus papás son inmigrantes, que son de... Jason, you said Honduras and Guatemala?
Sí.
Sus padres son de Honduras y de Guatemala, y hasta su padre sirvió es un veterano de la guerra de Vietnam, y justo es un veterano que sigue usando sus colores de su uniforme hasta este día, siendo un verdadero patriota americano. Básicamente es eso, un poquito también el trasfondo de la industria de Jason y también de su familia.
Look at these
thank
guys.
you, Diego. Gracias. And you know what? I just I was on the private chat function of the thing, and I'm just clicked over to the comments. Thank you to everybody in the comments that's been leaving some cool messages. Thank you. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you very much.
Yeah, our chat is awesome, man.
Yeah.
Everyone in the chat, thank you for being here. And not only listen to Jason and all his cool credits, but just his story, his family story, and there's a lot of good people. I know firsthand a lot of wonderful, good people working in Hollywood. You just wouldn't know it because all the wocosos steal all the headlines, Jason.
That's true, man. People love drama, and I mean, it attracts a certain type. But I'd rather fly underneath the radar, brother.
Yeah. So we go to a couple of our friends, Diego and Pablito, Kenneth Castillo and Noemi Gonzalez were on Twitter this morning, kind of shooting back a little bit at each other. Director Kenneth Castillo, it's 2021. There isn't one Latino director who could have had a career trajectory that would have put them in the running to direct a high-profile film like In the Heights. Hashtag not hating, just saying. And then Noemi Gonzalez, who's a friend of the channel, great interview. She quips back, why do they have to? Wouldn't have been a different movie with any of them. It's not the tone they do, even if they're Latino. Maybe Rodriguez, saying Robert Rodriguez. Yes, we need more Latinx directors, not only Latino directors. I personally love taking this win of Latinx and Asian representation. Kenneth Quipbacks, I would love to see just as much representation behind the camera as in front. I applaud In the Heights getting made. I look forward to seeing it. Less advocacy, more opportunities. And our boy Kenneth is on fire today this morning. I quipped in and basically said I'm holding my opinion till I see the movie. I'm going to pay to see the movie. And I want opportunities for all writers and directors. I want the very best to and if Chu, I think what he's saying is that, basically a non-Latino is directing In the Heights. And couldn't there have been one Latino director, Jason? One that could have been a possibility.
Yeah. I mean,
what are your thoughts? I mean, we don't have to.
No, I mean, great points. I mean, they're both great points, and I got to tell you, like, I think that that both Kenneth and Noemi, in many ways, are both correct. I'm kind of always this guy who's trying to be like a mediator, right? Like, I like to kind of see both sides of the coin and figure out. But I think that they're both right. Obviously, it would have been awesome to have a Latino director direct In the Heights, and I actually saw the movie. I saw a preview of it already. And you know what? It's wonderful. It's everything that is part of that Lin-Manuel brand that he's so famous for. And it's very charming and it's very beautifully filmed. And there's obviously what it does for representation and getting Latinx faces out there, Puerto Rican faces out there, Black faces out there. It's really, really, really great film. So. But I do see Noemi's points too. Like, hey, I get it. I think that it's unfortunate that in Twitter it almost seems like they're arguing with one another when in actuality I think they all are kind of saying the same things a little bit. But Cholo Chaplin is he's really what he's saying is, hey, let's get some brown faces behind the camera too, which is absolutely hey,
I mean, this is a man who's directed 7 independent films. He can't fucking get into the door, Jason.
Absolutely.
Why couldn't Lin-Manuel? My thing is, now I'm just thinking about this, guys, why didn't Lin-Manuel direct this himself? It's his fucking musical.
Yeah, I mean, I think that he's probably not versed in camera speak, like, I mean, running a movie is different than running a Broadway play.
Okay.
Like running a movie is there's a lot going on, not to say that there isn't a lot going on with a Broadway play. I'm sure there is. But if they asked me to direct or produce a Broadway play, I wouldn't know the first play. I wouldn't know the first thing to do it, Like at least, you know, when I'm talking about producing a television show or a movie, I have my footing and I know what to do. But if you said, hey, Jason, direct that, I need somebody to produce this Broadway play, I literally would need a lot of help to get that done. So I'm just thinking that that's the same thing that probably happened with Lin-Manuel. He probably said, well, I need somebody to direct this. And he probably saw Pretty Rich Asians and he thought that it was wonderful, or somebody, you know, made the pairing happen, and it happened. And there it is. I mean, we can't go back in history now and make that change, you know, like that, you know, the brother who directed In the Heights, you know, the Asian brother that directed that's what it is. And that's we cannot change that, you know, so it will forever live that way. But what Kenneth is saying is also very, you know, you got to take that for certain. And so hopefully what this is doing is building those pyramid bricks that, you know, that eventually this will happen. It didn't happen this time around, but hopefully it will happen, you know, in 2022, 2024, you know, let's build towards that for sure.
Diego.
Well, this
Or Pablo.
I'm a bit divided on this. Okay, on one side, like I understand why, for example, as Jason said, like, you know, Lin-Manuel does, as he said, he might know about musicals, and he said, but not know about, you know, making a movie. So he just stepped aside and said, let it to a person who knows. And John Chu, you know, he does have experience with music, like with at least movies that also have dancing in sync with music, because he has done like Step It Up and 2 and 3, and I think another one. Okay, so in that sense, I get it, because it's a person who understands choreography and the music. Okay, but on the other side, I also do think that I always bring it back to what Denzel Washington said. That is the thing about the culture. Why does he want to, for example, when he has a movie, he's producing it, he wants a black director? Because the experience he's trying to put in the movie is that of a black man or a black family. The same reason why Schindler's List was so powerful under Spielberg's hands or Coppola's hands was with Goodfellas, because they understood the culture of what's being portrayed.
Scorsese.
You know? I mean, Scorsese, yeah. Sorry, I confuse sometimes. But that's what I'm saying. They understand the culture, you know?
But they don't just do those Italian, they don't just do the mob films. Pablo.
Yeah, also I have been looking at this, and you have Lin-Manuel Miranda on the music direction. This is what I don't get in this whole conversation, okay? There's a lot of actors and actresses that are getting jobs because they look Latino. They call them Latinx, okay? But there's not many directors, there's not many producers, and let's say they are casting Namor as Tenoch, but they had already a lot of people that could have played Namor, and for the geographical relation, he will be part Greek, part Asian, but he is being cast as a Latino. Yet in the movie,
well, we don't know that. No. You don't know that he's Latino. He's a Latino actor playing Namor.
Yeah,
we didn't say they're changing. Well, I don't know.
No, they are not changing the origin, or at least they have not said that. But the actor looks Latino. Okay, instead of casting.
I mean, Tenoch is he's a very dark Mexican man.
Exactly. Yep.
But he's a great fucking actor. What's your point?
I'm not saying anything about his acting. What I'm saying is that they are casting him for how he looks. But if they wanted to get representation on this, they should have tried to go for a director or for someone that can actually do the work, and they can still pay homage to the way the comic looked on screen. They can get both. They can get the representation on the management side of the film and not in the acting side of the film. They didn't do that.
I think your argument's a little all over the place. I mean, first of all, they got a great actor. Tenoch
I'm not saying anything about his acting.
Let me finish, bro. Tenoch is a great actor. So let's see where, he's got to beef it up. Now you go and looks, it should be to Lee Tran, the guy in Mortal Kombat, but that guy can't act out of a paper bag.
Yeah, he can't.
I mean, he's a great martial artist. He's just beautiful looking man. Jason, you have any comments?
I mean, when we're talking about the guy from In the Heights.
No.
We actually jumped over to which Pablo loves to do.
Oh, sorry about that.
Tangents.
Where's his word? Where's his safe word? Yesterday it was reported that the Submariner Prince Namor has been cast, and Tenoch Huerta is going to be playing him in the Wakanda Forever.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
See, I didn't read that, and
Yeah.
and forgive my ignorance, man. I do not know who Tenoch Huerta is.
Tenoch, his most notable work is in Sin Nombre and también Narcos Mexico. And
Oh,
Narcos
yeah.
he was Diego's best buddy who created the strand of weed out in the fields. Basically was
Yes.
he's such a good actor.
And,
Yeah,
and I'm familiar with Namor from the Marvel, right? You know,
Right.
I mean,
Mhm.
dude, I mean, I love that character. You know, like it is like the anti-Aquaman, like somebody put in the comments here. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of got no dog in the fight. I'm just a Marvel fan, and I love
Mhm.
Black Panther, and I know that there's a lot going on with that, series ever since Chadwick Boseman passed away. Rest in peace, Chadwick Boseman. I'm a fan. I'm just a Marvel. I love Marvel stuff, so I can't wait for Loki. I think Loki's coming out tomorrow, and I watched the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I watched WandaVision, and I thought they were both great. So I can't wait to see the next one.
Okay, so Pablo, in regards to what is being said with In the Heights.
My point was related to that.
Okay.
I'm sorry if I didn't explain myself correctly.
No.
My point.
Explain yourself in Spanish too.
En español.
Yeah, it's
También
okay,
en
Pablo.
español.
Ok, en español, este es mi punto. El hecho es que podrían conseguir para Namor o para, en este caso, In the Heights, productores, directores que sean latinos, que tengan otra visión, que tengan otra imagen en su mente de cómo hacer la película. En vez de eso, lo que en este momento están haciendo para ganar importancia en medios, es decir, que el actor es latino y, por ejemplo, In the Heights, lo que he estado viendo en medios, también es los actores son latinos, pero lo que necesitamos también es un poco llevar la visión de nuestros directores, de nuestros productores hacia ese medio. Me parece que eso también es incluso más importante que solamente actores, porque los actores pueden llevar un rol, pero los directores y los productores, los escritores pueden generar completamente otro mundo desde una visión y pueden guiar al actor hacia algo mucho más grande que simplemente tener el actor por su color de piel. Ese era mi punto.
No. So, Diego?
Como digo, I agree to a certain point, because of the idea of what he's saying about the culture. It's the same thing. It's the culture at the end, But also, there is a part of me that says that, I believe that also, if someone is good enough, they have the talent as much as a director, producer, an actor, whatever, in a movie. You really, especially in the behind the cameras, you really don't need to be necessarily that culture. But if you understand that, at least respect it and understand, I'm not of that culture. I have somebody who can explain it to me, but I understand it, and I can pretty good do put it into camera and make you feel that, the respect and understanding, and actually show the elements of the culture. It could still work. The problem is that we don't see that. We feel it's more like checking the boxes. So it's like it's one of those things. I think no matter what was gonna happen, it would have had some kind of controversy related to it. In any instance, I believe. Even if they got the Latino director, even if they had a production team that was all Latinos as well, and the director isn't Latino, there will still be some controversy around it, like a bit, about the direction or the actors or the production or the story. You know, there was
Well-
always going to be a point of contention. I think.
Yeah, Jason, I'm of course I'm an advocate of, in front of and behind of. I want a level playing field. I hate saying the word representation. I think it gets thrown around too much like a fucking souvenir. I want the best people. And yeah, would I like, obviously, this is the Latino slant, Midnight's Edge Espanol. I'd love to see more, amazing stories about our people, our culture that connects on a universal level. I don't just want to be, I don't want scraps. I think at the end of the day, In the Heights, Tax Collector, Blood in, Blood Out, Stand and Deliver, these are all wins. End scene.
Yeah. You're good, Paulie.
Yeah, man.
Paulie, best supporting actor for our podcast. Paulie, I agree with you. But then again, to go back to the original tweet from your friend there, Cholo Chaplin there. Let's keep building. Blood In, Blood Out was made in the 90s. Stand to Deliver is the 80s. And same thing with La Bamba. And we're still struggling to get more Latino faces in the director chair, producer chair. So let's just keep moving, man. We got to keep it going, and we're trying to be a part of the movement. I know you've been in this game for a while. I've been in this game for a while. Probably a lot of people on this podcast are doing the same. So, let's just keep it going. If you've got ideas, let's get scripts going. Let's get it out there, and let's make some movies and have some Latino representation, like you said that word. But let's have some Latinos behind the camera. Would be the goal, right? So let's keep doing it.
Let's keep supporting and following people, wonderful people like Jason Martinez. You can catch him on his IMDb. He's got to head out. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and we'll do something very soon, brother.
Yeah, Paulie, I can't thank you enough, Pablo, Diego, everybody in the comment section, and I just want to appreciate everyone for tuning in, and also just I guess that's a great way to end the show, Paulie. Is just let's get some more Latinos in the director chair and the producer chair. I think that's the goal. Let's keep our stories out there, and let's be the one telling our stories.
Oh, yep.
Órale.
Yeah, gracias, Krusty Moco. Thank you, buddy. That's my favorite, dude. Such a good
He's
one.
our favorite.
Yeah,
He's
Yeah.
our favorite. He's our favorite.
Yeah, you guys rock, man. Keep making great stuff.
All right, Jason, we're gonna let you go. We'll wrap it up, but we will talk to you soon. Jason Martinez, everyone.
Gracias, Pablo, Diego. Gracias.
Gracias a ti.
Jason, thank you very much.
Okay, cuídense.
All right. Well, muchachos, ¿qué piensa?
Me quedé picado por más historias sobre el elenco de Jackass. Solamente porque cuando era joven yo amaba esa serie. Incluso las películas sé que son terribles, ahora que las veo de adultos son terribles, pero en esa época eran demasiado divertidas.
Mm-hmm.
I had forgotten that I totally forgot about his connection with Jackass and Viva La Bam, and he was actually really close to
If you had
Ryan
told me
Dunn.
that he was connected to Jackass, I would be geeking out the whole show. So it was better that I didn't.
It was good that you didn't remember.
Yeah.
And Jason is telling me that Diego, he'll be back soon. And Pablo.
Nice.
Yay.
Yeah, we got to get him in. Like, he could be like our, our Midnight Sedge's, Tom Conkle algo,
Mhm.
It's, I think it's important, no? It's important because, the fans are always first. And I know that there's some drama, and some of the people in the chat are talking about it a little bit. We're not here for that.
Yeah.
And but what we will not do is put down you guys or ourselves or any fans. Fuck no. Translate that in Spanish.
Digámoslo de una manera más bonita.
Sí.
Nosotros no somos nadie si es que no hay fans. Podemos estar aquí diciendo cualquier mamarrachada, hablando sobre cualquier ridiculez. Si es que no hay alguien que nos escuche, nosotros no existimos. Entonces, para nosotros es lo máximo, es lo mejor tenerlos aquí cada vez que estamos interactuando con nosotros, hablando con nosotros. No podemos agradecerles más. Y
I mean-
cualquier...
Yeah, no, lo siento, Diego.
Creo que más que nada compartido con lo que ya dijo Pablito, pero y también decir el hecho de que también nosotros somos fans, entonces nosotros entendemos muy bien cómo se sienten. Entonces también creo que es bueno porque estamos una relación simbiótica. Ustedes nos apoyan como también nosotros los apoyamos a ustedes a darles como una forma de vocalizar su malestar y también o su emoción cuando hay algo que les emociona. Y es muy importante ese vínculo porque, como digo, es simbiótico. Sin ustedes no tenemos show y sin nosotros para poder canalizar todo eso, a veces se queda en el aire nomás lo que sienten los fans. Y es muy bueno que haya eso.
Just the time wasted. Think of people in the chat and us. Think of a problem that came across your way that you saw as completely juvenile, completely unnecessary, right? Now, think of how much time you had to waste in talking down somebody or dealing with it, and it's not even your drama. It's not even your problem. How much time is wasted on negative, something so juvenile, when we should be creating, doing great videos, having a great time for people, bringing on guests, concentrating on panels, on the, that's all I care about. And that's the only way I can do these two channels. I can't do these two. And if I got involved with if I took the bait, you'd be surprised if I took the bait on everyone that has come to me in the past couple months of issues from very small to bigger ones. I would not get anything done. I already, as is, guys, I feel like I'm behind always.
I get you.
Do you know what I mean? Like I already feel like I'm behind just because we're so busy.
Y, esto es desde el punto de vista de producción, incluso dentro de cine y todo, no solamente entre nosotros youtubers. Cada vez que te pierdes en drama, cada vez que te pierdes en una pelea, pierdes tiempo de trabajo. Y ahora últimamente Hollywood es puro drama, por eso es que no hacen las cosas rápido, no las hacen bien, están demasiado preocupados con eso. Nosotros no tenemos tiempo para eso porque nosotros estamos tratando de entretenerlos ustedes y de hacer que las cosas mejoren un poco. Esas son las dos misiones, así que más importante es estar aquí con ustedes y poder hablar de las cosas que nos gustan. Y también de las cosas que no nos gustan, a veces es bueno reírse de soquetadas, pero...
Oh God, I just remembered. Next time Jason's here, we gotta ask him this because we forgot. When you mentioned Amazon, the whole Amazon purchase. We had the plan for that, and I just remembered we forgot. We were so enthralled by all his stories.
Well, that's just the thing. Is like, I'd rather hear his stories than hear, like everyone's talking about the news, and everyone's gonna have their, their negative opinions or this and that. I want to hear his stories. I want to hear about these people. Like how Bam said, basically, gave the middle finger to those corporate guys that came from MTV. That was amazing.
And the best part is the reaction was excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I-
and guys, speaking of that, as far as creative content and drama free and giving you guys great streams, if you guys believe in that, then believe that all the tips are appreciated. So there's our, until we're monetized, there is our little tip jar. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Gracias, hermanos. Oh, man. You know, this is something that I really need to know who took the alligator out of Bam's house.
Well, did someone took it home?
Someone took it home? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Oh, wait a minute. Did I give you the wrong link? Okay, hold on. Oh, yeah. You're whoops. Oops.
Tip
right, try-
yourself.
Mute yourself.
Meanwhile,
All right, try
Pablo,
this one, guys. Try this one. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but one thing that was fun is the fact that we talked about the Derbez, but I said, like, you know, more about the production side, right?
Mhm.
And in the explaining the production side, he talked about the tensions that happened for the family.
Sure.
It was like, oh god.
Yeah, but he didn't he wasn't he was respectful about it.
But
it was.
it was one of my questions about that because in
Mhm.
season 2, they mention it so many times
Mhm.
that it's like, I really want to know how tense it was. And then
You
after
gotta
he said,
hustle,
it's
Krusty. You gotta hustle every day.
Yeah.
like,
Go fight, win, baby. Go on.
no, that's why it's just because, like, I wanted to ask him that because of how many times they mentioned it in the season 2. It's like, God, what happened?
You know, that's the respect that we want. He was not talking about the family drama. He was talking about the operational difficulties on the family's misfortune. Okay, so it's quite different. He's not talking about this one was right or this one. This interrupted the production and they had this trouble. That is what we want to know, actually.
But there's also that. It's just that how many times they mentioned it was like shocked. It's like, what, did they try to murder each other first? And that's why I started watching this first season, because I wanted to see like what happened, you know.
And for a tip of $2, un regalito from
Eh,
Darius Munchausen. Muchísimas gracias, hombre. It goes a lot. Every single cent, dollar, dime, it goes a long way, guys. Thanks, brother.
Yeah, thank you,
Yeah.
amigo.
He says, órale, from Darius Munchausen. Órale.
Órale.
Órale. What was I say? Also, I think maybe next time that he comes, since we already talked a bit about his path, you know, we could talk more details about series like, you know, Pitbulls and Parolees.
Sure.
You know,
Well, I think you know, maybe every 4 to 6 weeks we can have Jason back and maybe get another insider in you know, maybe more of an insider, you know, as far as, you know, Spanish language, but insider nonetheless. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot of things that I will want to ask, like what's the difference between a normal studio and Amazon that is kind of tech company? So what's the difference? What's the difficulties that you face when you change from one to another and all that? That is really important because a lot of people will do that transition soon enough. Because, you know, Netflix and
Pablo.
Oh,
Yeah, no, I'm here.
No, I said Pablo because he was talking and out of nowhere, just in mid sentence, it cut.
Yeah, he did. I was right.
Perdona. Todavía tengo dificultades entre manejar mi inglés, mi japonés y mi español cuando hablo en inglés.
Let me just say, Stephen Otten, if you're still here, I wanted to thank him for his tip the other night for $3 to keep the lights on.
Nice.
I think that was probably on that was on one of our Latino Slant streams the other day. Like, so thank you. Says Jason's such a prolific producer that can keep the conversation going for a long time, and really we could have kept going. He's got to go to work.
Yep,
working on shit. Yeah, but I totally agree. And this is a man, you know, like known for 20. Oh, hey, there he is. Gracias, hombre.
Por cierto, quería decir gracias a T-Shirt Art Historian. Hermanocito, muchas gracias.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
also, I was gonna say, but just quick, is the fact that Paulie, thank you for giving us like a chance to talk more than just because I mean the first time I met him was more about the Rebel Without a Crew,
Mhm.
and the Monday, and now we have so much more.
Yeah. Well, and you got to understand this too as well, guys. So, like in life, when you have a dream, right? I want to be the best cup maker. I want to make the best cups, coffee cups. How do I do that? And then you start and you go like, to coffee cup school. But then you see like, oh, I kind of like these bigger cups. These are Yeti cups. And these are made out of steel. And then I'm going to go and learn how to make steel and to refine my craft. Then all of a sudden I'm an engineer. I think my point is that a lot of people go in with certain dreams, like Jason. He wants to be a movie filmmaker, and he's been doing reality shows now for 20 years. These people do not. There's these people who have so much grit, like Romy, who have so much determination and fucking grit that they will work in the business no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's those entitled brats, those wocosos that do exist, of course, but there's a lot of just salt of the earth people in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Tal
go ahead.
vez lo quisiera convertir en un consejo para el chat, incluso para nosotros. No importa qué es lo que estén haciendo, siempre pueden mejorar y siempre pueden buscar maneras de mejorar. Y no se planteen específicamente que quieren hacer algo en la vida. A veces estudian, qué sé yo, para ser ingenieros mecánicos y de repente terminan trabajando en una fábrica de textiles. Son cosas completamente normales. A veces la vida te desvía, pero no importa hacia dónde vayas, siempre puedes ser el mejor en lo que estés haciendo. Y ese esfuerzo siempre va a dar un resultado. Tal vez no lo vean inmediatamente, pero siempre va a tener un resultado. Así que vale la pena ese esfuerzo.
Mm-hmm. Also, I was gonna say that Jason's visit here also made us see that like there is also an even more clear cut distinction even in certain circles because of what he said, how those that work with scripts talk down to them, those who do reality.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and he was thankful for the fact that finally now the part of the reality people are union. It's like it shows the difference, like even in the sphere that we call like the Hollywood area, it's like there is still a much of a distinction between the ladders.
I mean, look at you guys. You guys know at least 3 or 4 people that are working just because of the channel. Noemi, Kenneth Castillo, Alejandro Montoya Marin, Jason Martinez.
Romy.
We wouldn't necessarily call them Romy. Whoops.
I'm trying to save you, man.
We wouldn't necessarily call them wocosos. Some of them are, very liberal, but that doesn't mean, that's a big difference. Like we can have conversations with these people.
Yes.
Yeah, the main difference is that they don't tell I'm this, hire me. Is I can do this. Would you like to work with me?
And then you have to be like this, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Krusty Moco, good work, homies. With a $10 propina.
Gracias, hermano.
Woo!
Gracias.
Woo!
Pinches Zoomers, pinches Millennials, pinches todos.
Oh my God. Too funny. Thank you. Where is it? Yeah. And then T-shirt historian. Speaking of vocosos, where's the T-shirts? I need T-shirts. I'm not T-shirted without my T-shirts. You're going to sell a ton of those. We are in what's been going on is we're having to shift manufacturers. So Mexican Iron Man is taking care of that. We should be back in production like any day now. Once we are, then we can, open up the merchandise store again. Trust me, every day I have people wanting a Wocoso t-shirt.
Yeah. Also, for this channel, can we have a shirt that only says camiseta?
Nice, nice. T-shirted. I'm liberal, but I'm definitely not a wokoso. I think people should have food, homes, jobs. If that makes me bad, then I'm bad.
Exacto. A ver, una cosa es ser wocoso, otra cosa es tener una conciencia clara de lo que está pasando en el mundo. Los wocosos no tienen una conciencia clara de lo que está pasando en el mundo. Dicen, por ejemplo, queremos que existan más personas de este color en esto, pero no les importa si es que la producción termina, si es que la producción es de buena calidad, o queremos tener más trabajadores de este color. Es como conseguir mascotas. Mientras tanto, si es que tú sabes las dificultades que tienen estas personas, en vez de simplemente pensar por su color, quiero que pensarías en su comunidad necesitan esto, necesitamos arreglar esto, podemos ayudar de esta forma, podemos conectarlos con estas personas. Es muy diferente el querer ayudar a la gente que simplemente el querer tener un token representativo de alguien. Entonces, entiendo perfectamente que hay muchas personas que se sienten ofendidas cuando uno dice wocoso, pero no es hacia ellas.
Espérate. Tenemos una estrella en el chat. Dos sardeñas para ti. Dos sardeñas para mí. Te quiero, te amo. Nina Infinity. ¡Au! ¿Cómo estás, chava?
Ese Pauli es un romántico.
Well, I mean, Nina Infinity just, besides being brilliant, she's just so darn beautiful. So thank you for coming on by, Nina.
Thank you for the
Bye,
like.
Nina.
Thank you for the like, yes.
Wait, where was it?
Monday.
Gogol 13 put an answer there. Oh, there she is.
No hay de qué. No hay de qué. Thanks for coming on by. That's pretty cool. You know.
Y sí, Gogo 13 tiene un excelente chat. Everyone wants to work, can and should have that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you know, real fast, if you're like Nina or anyone else who missed the actual Jason Martinez interview, he left us a little while ago. Hit the replay later. He is amazing. He's produced reality shows from Viva La Bam to Temptation Island. So he was pretty amazing. He was pretty cool.
And though the best one was Pitbulls and Parolees.
Well, I think it's time to wrap it up, guys. You guys got any closing thoughts?
I will watch La Bam again and again and again.
¿Cómo? La Bam?
I will watch
Viva La Bam.
Viva La Bam.
Oh, Viva La Bam. Okay, Diego.
I'm gonna finish watching their best first season to see the magic. Maybe if I can, gonna start watching again Animal Planet because they always run reruns of Pitbulls and Parolees.
También.
What else do you have, Diego, on the channel?
We have our reunion panel for Stand Deliver. That's on Thursday, where we're gonna be having some.
Look at what I just put up.
Oh. All right. Thank you, Polly. Also, right now on the channel, you can see my interview with Romy Diaz in Spanish. So enjoy that. It was so fun to actually talk with Romy and actually do a little interview about her backstory because it's a very interesting career, how her career evolved. I recommend it.
You did great. You did fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay. Channel notice for Thursday. I don't think we're having a show. We're probably not going to have a show because Thursday morning we will be over at the main show. In fact, we're not having a show. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Stand Deliver reunion panel on Midnight's Edge. Mark it now. Thursday morning, 7 a.m. 10 a.m. 10 a.m. So what we'll do, guys, is we'll have our Stand and Deliver watch party here tomorrow night after the Latino Slant. anyone who wants to rewatch it with us and kind of get ready for the big reunion panel, that would be amazing. You guys got anything else to say?
Yeah, I want to recommend a Latino movie. It's called Nota Roja. The Chile is from Chile, and with that, yeah, I guess that and Diego is not the only one that has done an interview with a beautiful woman. You can catch the Noemi and interview here.
Jealous much?
Oh man,
Hey, actually, your Noemi, that's the most viewed video on the channel.
seriously?
Yeah, it's like almost
Nice.
like 400 views or something like that.
I was
So,
thinking more about interviewing a beautiful woman, but
no, you did great, man. You did great. All right, guys. Look out for more updates on this crazy week on our Twitter. You guys take care. We'll see you soon. Muchísimas gracias.
adios.
Bye bye.